Good morning everyone, I am Krisha Silvanayakam and today I will be teaching you 8th Geography, Chapter 3, Migration. Now what is migration? To define in simple terms, migration would be movement of people from one country to another, either for the purpose of settling down there permanently or on a temporary basis. Now like this coin has two sides, same way migration also has two sides, and that is your immigration and the other one is immigration. Now both these terms are related with the movement of people from one country to another. Right. Now for example, if a person leaves India, right, he would be known as an immigrant in his own country, that is in India. And when he reaches to another country, let's say America, there he would be known as an immigrant. Alright, so the person who leaves his own country, he is known as an immigrant. And the person who reaches the other country, there he is known as an immigrant. Now since historical time immemorial, we have seen that even in past history we have seen that there were many travelers, there were many priests, or many people traveled all over the world for various purposes, maybe for gaining knowledge, for trade purpose, etc. So we have seen that migration was very much in it was very much, we could see that the examples of migration, many people did migrate for various purposes. Alright, now again migration is again broadly can be divided into two parts, that is international migration, and the other one is internal migration. International migration, when a person changes or leaves his own country and goes to another country for the purpose of settling down, would be known as international migration, also known as external migration. But when a person migrates internally, that means he is moving within his own country. He is not crossing the borders, he is within his own country, but he is just moving from one state to another, one region to another. So the movement of people within their own country is known as internal migration. Now, internal migration can further be divided into four. That is, number one, rural to rural migration. Rural to urban. Urban to urban. And the last one is urban to rural. I'll repeat. Internal migration can further be divided into four. Rural to rural migration, rural to urban migration, urban about internal migration in detail. So the first one that I'm going to explain is about rural to rural migration. Now, rural to rural migration would be when a person leaves or migrates from one village to another in search of better job opportunities, for search of, better education, or better, if a person is married, he needs to change his, leave his home and go to another village. So these are some of the causes of rural to rural migration. Now, when the Green Revolution happened in Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh, many people from other states came to Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh in search of work. Alright, so this is an example of your rural to rural migration. Similarly, thousands of villagers have moved to plantations in Bengal and Assam as laborers. So mostly we can say or understand that rural to rural migration takes place mostly in search of better job opportunities. The second one that I'm going to explain you is about rural to urban migration. Rural to urban migration. Now in this, the people, they migrate from village areas to town and cities. Again, for what? There are n number of reasons: for better job opportunities, to avail better education, to avail better health facilities, for better standard of living. Alright, so these are some of the factors because of which people want to leave village areas and move to city areas, basically to have a better standard of living. Now basically, rural to urban migration depends on two factors. What are those two factors? The first one is your push factor and the other one is your pull factor. Now what is push factor? Push factor is the factor which compels the people to leave their own place, their own region and move to another area in search of what? In search of better employment. Alright, the war compels them to leave their own place, maybe crime, violence in that area, unemployment, limited or no jobs, plus you have lack of basic infrastructure, low paid wages, salaries. These are all your push factors which create a discontent in the person and he is compelled to leave his region in search of better things. Now what is your pull factors? Pull factors is just the opposite of your push factors. Pull factors are the factors which attract a person to leave his own place, region and come and stay in this region. That's why people from rural or the village areas, they leave their villages and move to urban cities in search of better employment, to have a good standard of living, in search of better education, health facilities. Alright, so they want a more nice and an improved life. So this is your pull factors, right? For they will be paid well, they will get high salary jobs, right? The jobs will be stable, there will be fixed working hours, there will be political stability, there won't be any violence or any sort of these things in urban areas. Everything would be in control and everything would be systematic. So that is why the people want to leave the rural areas and move to urban areas to have a high standard of living. Now, the next one that I'm going to explain you is about urban to urban migration. Now the next point that I am going to explain you is about urban to urban migration. In this, people living in small city towns, they move to big cities or towns. Basically again for the same purpose, to have a high standard of living. Right. So that is why many metro cities nowadays are being congested, because many people are leaving small towns in order to settle in big cities, as they have big desire, they achieve a lot of things, so they go and settle in metro cities. and in small cities a vacuum is created, right? Because many people are migrating and moving to big cities like your Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, all these metropolitan cities. So such type of migration which takes place from small towns to big towns is known as urban to urban migration. Now, the fourth type of migration is urban to rural migration. Urban to rural migration. Now this takes place in an advanced condition when the people who are living in city areas, they get absolutely they're fed up of the city life. Why? Because in cities nowadays we see there's a lot of pollution, it is over congested, right? And there's too much noise pollution, right? Even the cost of living has become pretty expensive. Now those people who have worked hard all their life, now they want a peaceful life. They want to at a certain age when they reach, they want their life, they want to spend their life in a peaceful atmosphere. In such a condition, these people, they move from your urban areas to rural areas in order to lead a peaceful life. So such kind of a migration from urban to rural area is known. Such kind of migration in which people move from city areas to village areas is known as urban to rural migration. Now the second topic that I am going to teach is about international migration. What is international migration? Movement of population from one country to another across the international borders is known as international migration. When the person wants to leave his country and settle down in another country to have a better standard of living, right, we can say it as an international migration. Now why do people migrate from your home country to the other countries? Let's say India. Why do people migrate from India and go and settle down in America? Again, the same thing. Because in other countries in America you have better standard of living, right? You have good education, higher standard of education, health facilities, higher paid salary jobs. Over there, they will get much more opportunities to explore their talent. All these are reasons because of which people want to leave their home country and go and settle down in other country where these opportunities are available, right? But have you ever thought what would be the impact on the home country? Obviously, the impact of this kind of migration, that is international migration, is not good. There are many negative impacts on the home country. The first one, these countries have basically invested a lot in the youth of that country, right? They have invested in the resources, they have trained them, they have made them, and they have given them good skills. Now these skills, when these young people, they leave their own country and move to another country, these skills are used for the development of that country and not for the benefit of the home country. Okay, so this is one of the negative impacts of international migration. So this is one of the negative impacts. Now the migration of skilled human resources for trade, education and better job opportunities is known as brain drain. Right? And this brain drain, as I told you about the negative impact, this happens because of the brain drain, because the people are leaving their own home country and settling down in other countries. But apart from negative impacts, there are few positive impacts as well. Number one, when the person or that youth who has left his own country and is working in a foreign country, he will send money to his home, to the family that is living in the home country. This will increase our foreign exchange, right? This will increase the standard of living of the family members who are living in our country. Plus, he is gaining knowledge there, so he can, whenever he comes back, he can use that knowledge for the development of our own country, for the development of the industries in whichever part he will work. So there are these are some of the positive impacts of brain drain. But more than positive impacts, brain drain has your negative impacts on the home country, on the economy of the home country, and overall the country suffers a lot. So this was all about your brain drain, the negative impacts on the country and the positive impacts on the country. Now one more point I would like to focus on is the home country, when it receives these young people, right, when it receives the people who are coming from the other countries. Even that receiving country also, this migration has a negative and a positive impact even on that country. Let's say America. America is receiving people from other countries. Now what would be the positive impacts? Positive impacts would be that the labor force is increasing. They are getting new and skilled people, right, who will contribute in their economy. Alright, they will have people belong different cultures, so they will be able to understand their culture, have a bonding with them, etc. But what are the negative impacts? Negative impacts will include that there will be a great pressure on the resources of the receiving country, right? Your great pressure even on your social services of that country. Alright, and again, a lot of creation job opportunities would be required because the number of people are increasing. So these would be some of the negative impacts on the receiving country. Now, this was all about your brain drain, about international migration, internal migration. Now let us quickly recapitulate what all did we study today. In the beginning I told you about migration, its definition, what migration is. Then I told you that migration has two sides. It is immigration and emigration. Furthermore, I told you and described about that migration can be divided into two parts, international migration and internal migration. I told you international migration has impact, has both positive and negative impact on the country, home country, as well as your receiving country. But internal migration, it has no changes are brought about in the country because of internal migration. And the last thing I had to explain you was about the brain drain. So we should remember that our home country is doing a lot for us. So when we have acquired the skills, right, when we become educated, we have acquired the skills, so we should try and contribute our skills for the development of our home country, for the progress of our home country. And in order to do that, we need to stay in our country and serve our country.